Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your Wasteland Services. How are you all? You're all doing very, very well. And hope the weather's better where you guys are. At the moment in the Kilted realm, it is a pure whiteout. It is ice, ice, baby. We had a blizzard 3 days ago, and it only came down the once. It was rain, then it was sleet, then it was hail, which lasted for over an hour. You don't get hail that lasts for over an hour. Weird. And then it turned into snow, and then it just froze. So for the last few days, it's been absolutely perilous underfoot. Then again, you don't spend too much time on your feet. You're on your arse most of the time, slipping and sliding away like a human bobsleigh. So my advice, stay indoors and watch movies like Mad Max, especially Mad Max 2. If you're in the right frame of mind, Beyond Thunderdome. And then round it all off with Fury Road, Mad Max, petrol heads, lead feet, you know. I celebrate you all. Says the guy that can't drive. Can't drive. Never had a lesson in my life. Drove a tractor once. I drive people up the wall. But motor vehicles on the roads? No. I ride a mean shotgun though. And it's probably a good thing that I can't drive because I can be a bit of a reckless, foolhardy buffoon. So yeah, the world is a safer place without me behind the wheel. Damn. And yet, I want to be Mad Max with my own V8 Interceptor, the last of the V8s. Anyway, folks, I've got something to show you, which I picked up the other day, and I was disgusted with it when it turned up. So I modded it. I customised it, me old self. And it is from Greenlight and Hollywood. I think that's their full title. Greenlight Hollywood, who do all die-cast models of, great cult movie cars. And they have done the classic V8 Interceptor. And that the version you're looking at right there is the weathered version of the Mad Max 1 vehicle. The Ford Falcon 1973 XB Coupe. Overmounted supercharger. The fantastic side exhaust pipes. The high wheel flared arches, the Concorde aftermarket nose cone, and you have the fantastic headlights with the white masks on them, roof spoiler. It's everything. Everything's there. It's a great replica, except for one thing. Right, okay. Greenlight do the MFP yellow, red and blue four-door sedan version of this, which is actually from 1974. In the first movie, you've got Charlie and Roop and SARS and Scuttle. These are their call signs are Big Bopper and March Hare, and they are in respectively a Pursuit Special and an Interceptor, but all in the yellow, red and blue sort of MFP Main Force Patrol colours, and they're chasing the Night Rider, the fuel-injected suicide machine. Step up, chump, and watch the kid lay down a rubber road right to freedom. Yeah, Vince Gill as the Night Rider. And the skill with which Vince Gill evades each successive pursuer, including Steve Bisley as Jim Goose on his motorbike, on his Kawasaki. Awesome. He's the Kaneki to Mad Max's Danny Zuko, is he not? And you kind of want to be a combination of Max and I was going to say Kaneki then, and Jim Goose. But Jim Goose gets barbecued. He crashes, he breaks bones all the time, he gets attacked again and again and again, and then he gets set on fire. and doesn't die. And here's the thing, folks. In Mad Max, the first movie, as everyone knows, he loses it. Max loses his wife and child and his best friend. Well, Jim Goose doesn't die. Jim Goose is on a ventilator and he's burnt to a crisp, but he's not dead. And as the doctors tell, Max overhears them talking. Look, we can save her, but we've lost the kid. So his wife doesn't die. Jessie, his wife, doesn't die. Although I think we can take it as kind of obvious that she's not going to last too much longer, given that this apocalypse is about to happen as well. And then Max will take to the road in the last of the V8 Interceptors. So, this is the weathered version. Now, they do the MFP cars, they do the black on black just shiny black Interceptor, which Max uses at the end of Mad Max 1. And then, of course, they do a weathered version of that. And I think they do... No, that's it. They don't do anything from Mad Max 2 or Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome or Fury Road. They don't do any other interpretations of any other vehicles, making me wonder that they've only got the rights to the first movie. Because the V8 Interceptor in Mad Max 2 is radically different. Because Max, because he's a warrior of the wasteland, he's got to survive on his wheels forever on the trek for gasoline. He's took out all the back, all of this has been removed, and he has 2 gas tanks in there, plus all this survival gear, plus probably about 50,000 tins of Dinky D, dog food for him and Dog to chow down on. And all this survival camouflage netting, all this stuff, all this tucker. That's basically his tucker bag. The old MFP swag man that he is. There you are, Scrowy. And Randall, you Aussie boys out there. I'm trying to throw some Aussisms into this. Like I know what I'm talking about. But so clearly this car, even when you buy the weathered version, it is not the car from Mad Max 2. The battered, modified, customised V8 Ford Falcon, which he's using. This is still, it's the exact same car that they put out for the Black on Black, which is the nice super sleek. When he first gets it, if you remember the movie, Max, he's had enough. He wants to leave. Because as he says to Fifi McAfee, who's Roger Ward, who's his boss, and he says, like, you know, I don't go any longer. I'm one of them. I'm going crazy as well. Like, you know, I'm loving it too much. So because he's their best driver, they have to entice him to stay. So that's why they soup up. They find another Ford Falcon and they do it up as a black on black V8 Interceptor. And Jim Goose, his leg broken from the earlier chase with the Knight Rider, they introduce Max to this, and you've got that stuttering mechanic down there with the slick back hair, and like Max is just looking at it, and they fire it up with the supercharger, and Max just like turns it off, like Jim Goose is going like, he's in a coma, and then Max goes, how did you get all this together? And like the stuttering mechanic goes like, a piece from here, a piece from there, and Jim Goose is going to him like, you know, Max, you've seen it, you've heard it, and you start asking questions. It's to lure Max in, but Max will only go back to being a warrior of the roads, the road warrior, after his wife and son and his mate are butchered badly by the toe cutter and his gang of rogue motorcyclists. And then he will go back in, put his leathers on, and his little sawn-off shotgun, get this, and one by one run them all down. It's brilliant, and we love it. Now, okay, I'm gonna show you this in detail, but first of all, I'm gonna say this. I had to change this. That is, you buy the weathered version of the 1973 XB Ford Falcon from Mad Max, from Greenlight Hollywood. The weathered version does not look like that. It's pink. It's fucking pink. It's sort of salmon pink. It's like it's been smothered and smoothed over with salmon paste. Remember that? Princess salmon paste for your butties? And it does not look good. Their official photos, it kind of looks okay. You think, well, yeah, I see what they're doing there. As a concept, that's not too bad. It does look like the sort of the red/orange tinted sand of Broken Hill, where they filmed Mad Max 2. And even more so, the sand in the Namibian desert where they filmed Mad Max Fury Road. So yeah, I can see where they get that colour scheme from. However, it's too uniform, and it coats the entire vehicle. You can't see anything. There's absolutely no black on it. The version I got had no black left. Now, the vehicle would not look like that. Yeah, you want it to be pitted and dented and bashed about. There should actually be a lot of rust around the flared wheel arches. There should be rust all the way down the bottom. And the underside, the underbelly of it, up to about there, would be that sort of colour of orange and pinky red. But their version was completely covered in it. Completely. It was an embarrassment. When I got out of the box, I thought, what the fuck? I'd seen some reviews and everyone was complaining, but I thought, well, I'll take a chance. They might have got an earlier one, and they've since redone the paintwork on it, and it might be a bit more, bit more variety in it. No, there wasn't. Now, as you can see now, it looks nothing like that. I'll show you again a bit more close up. Look, yeah, there's black, a lot of black, but there's also a lot of denting and a lot of scratches and smears, and you've got the concept of the feel of sand and grit all over it. Yeah, right. Now, how did I do that then? What did I do? Did I repaint it? No. I thought, right, I want this to look like it's been out in the desert. Got to bear in mind, there are people out there that customize these and have taken out the back and put in the gas tanks and all the other bits and bobs and, accoutrement. They put them in there, so it does look like the Mad Max 2 vehicle. However, the inside would be different because it's got the flashing blue. Well, it doesn't flash, but it's got the blue light on the dashboard because he is a copper when all said and done. So it's got that inside. I'll show you that. But so I thought, well, okay, my V8 Interceptor is going to be Max has just took to the roads. And he's only been out for like a few months, maybe. Society's collapsing around him. Yeah, you've got to build up a backstory, haven't you? So he hasn't really. There's still townships and hamlets that you can go to, but he's spending more of his time out on the roads, and just exploring and just going to try to avoid the big suburbs and cities because societal collapse. It's the Walking Dead basically, and so he hasn't yet changed anything here. So this has just been out on the road for a while. So he still had some encounters, so there's a few dents and scratches, and he's still got all the weathering, the actual sandy effect on it from the outback. So what did I do? I got me trusty ski-and do, which I have not got with me at the moment, but my little ski-and do. I'll go and get it. I will. I'll go and get it. Rummage. Wouldn't you know it? Oh, it's here. It was behind you guys all the time. My trusty ski-and do. My wee Scottish dirk, your little dagger that lives down your boot for times of stress. And unlike a lot of ski-and do's which people buy when, I'm going to a wedding and it's in Scotland, or so-and-so Scottish, so I'm going to have to wear the whole kit and caboodle. So they put all the Highland gear on, and they got the kilt on the sporran, and they get the ski-and do. Only these days, the ski-and do tends to be a sealed unit. So that's it. It would be that and a scabbard. No blade, because it wouldn't come out. It's one sealed unit, and it just sits down your sock. Nothing wrong with that. Why do you need a blade down your boot or your sock when you're going to someone's party? You know me and blades. If I'm going to have a blade, it's going to be real. So mine is real. And you guys have seen this so many times. It's in pretty much all my unboxing videos. This is there. And it's a really great, versatile little tool. I've got so many other knives, but a lot of them are way too big for the job I had in mind. So what I did, folks, I took this, and I began to whittle away, scrape. You need a smaller blade because otherwise you're going to be... I'd have impaled the bloody thing and I took the doors off and the roof would be, split asunder. And I began to scrape and whittle and drive off. See what I did there? All the pink, the horrible pink, which was just, and it was too uniform as well. It wasn't even like it was real dirt. I know it's a 1/24th scale, die-cast car, but the details on it are really, really good. I gotta recommend Greenlight Hollywood, who make these. They are great vehicles. They are great little versions, and they do them in different sizes too. There's 1/24th scale as well. Which, thinking about it, I should have got that because I'm only a short ass. I could probably fit in it myself. That'd be my cheapest option of getting one of these. I'll talk about that in a minute. Getting the real one of these. So I scraped everywhere. Even the tyres, the Sunraysia tyres were bright pink as well. It was just too uniform. You had to have some modification. You had to show what the vehicle was underneath all of that. So I did. And wow, it was quite therapeutic. But folks, I've said this before, when you start modifying things, sometimes It could be a mask. There's one over there somewhere. And you change the hair on the mask. You start putting more details on the mask itself. A lot of people rehaul and put whole new hair into it and completely repaint these things. I'm not an expert with paint, so I use Sharpies and pencils and pen, ink, literally. And I've modified a number of masks massively in some cases for the better. The American Werewolf in London, Big Kessler Wolf, looks fantastic and I am saying that myself, but compared to what it was, it looked fucking awesome, especially with the addition of putting my own dog, not my own dog fur, my dog's own fur, husky fur went into it, giving it some more variety in the huge profusion of fur. So, but there's a danger when you start modifying things that you could go too far. So you've got to stop yourself. Now, in this particular case, going too far was never going to be far enough, because no matter how much you did, you were going to leave scratches, little bits of dentage, and that sort of salmony pink sandy colour, which you do want, but just not in the quantity that they had initially. So now that looks like it's still the same V8 Interceptor, blasted of V8s. Would have been a shame to blow it up. But having traversed the roads and the highways and the deserts, so I think that looks way better. Do you not? I know I don't have a picture to show you of what it looked before, because even the packaging, here, I'll show you the packaging for it. That's here, somewhere. Here it is. Right. Greenlight Hollywood contains one die-cast vehicle, lasted of V8 Interceptors. Right, so you've got a little bit of diorama, sort of backing illustration in there. Ring lights, supernova-ing the whole thing out there, but like a dusty road. Yeah, dusty road. On the back, there is an image of what is a weathered V8 Interceptor. The car from the first movie, but slightly weathered, bit of dust on it. If that's what you got in the box, that'd have been fine. That's not what you get in the box. As I said, it's pink. I can't dress this up anymore. It's pink. I think in my previous video, a big unboxing, I had it in its pink as it came out the box, sitting on there somewhere, and some people did spot it. So you go back and look at that, and you'll see how it looked. But against that sort of woodeny background, it probably didn't look. It probably blended in too well. You wouldn't have seen just how shocking pink it really was. Now it also says limited edition, weathered edition, limited edition. Right. So now the thing is, the Ford Falcons themselves were limited. The Ford Falcon was the Australian answer to the American mass-produced Ford Mustang. Yes, Bullet's car from Bullet. An American muscle car, a little speed wagon, super cool and sexy. The Ford Falcon, limited edition for Australia only. It wasn't meant to go anywhere else. It was just released in Australia in 73 and 74. These two different versions. Now, they were more beefed up. I prefer the Ford Falcon. In fact, as I've said so many times, my favourite car, my favourite vehicle of all time is not, the Aston Martin, DB whatevers. It's not the Pontiac Firebird or the Di Tomaso Pantera. All cars I've loved in the past. But it has always been the Ford Falcon XB, last of the V8s. The sexiest car, even the MFP colours. Now, you've got to remember that the black on black is a two-door coupe, whereas in the first movie, again, you've got even Max initially drives a four-door sedan, that version. Now, why the four-door? Why not the souped-up, more muscly, smaller, more sleek coupes? Well, because they're police vehicles, they're not there arresting crims, and skags and floozies. So you've got to throw them in the back, haven't you? You've got to get him in that bloody door, get him on the back seat. So, by the way, cheers. Stocks have been replenished. And I like that look. I like the colours of the MFP, the yellow, red and blue. There's some variation. SARS and Scuttle drive an Interceptor. The bit under the call sign of March Hare, they get wasted. And you've got Big Bopper, which is Charlie and oh god, what's his other name? What's the other guy's name? Oh no, probably got it there somewhere. Charlie and Roop, and Charlie's the Bible bashing one. Like he's like, "You're blaspheming again. I don't have to work with a blasphemer." And he's like, "Shut up." You know, and we're back in the game. Big Bopper's back in the game. They've crashed several times already, and they keep coming back, and they keep calling back it. They're in a pursuit special, right? So they've got pursuit written on the back of it, and you got Interceptor on the other ones. What's the difference? They're all supercharged. They will all try to kill, the criminals on the run. So whether you're pursuing them or intercepting them, you've got this. It's the same outcome. You know what I mean? And Max drives an Interceptor as well. Max, people always forget about this. Max had a partner called the Dark One. If you look on the side, they've all got their names on the side of the vehicle. Like Big Bopper, and it'd be Charlie and Roop, and SARS and Scuttle for March Hare. And for Max, it was Max and the Dark One. But the Dark One's died, the Dark One's dead. So Max is on his own, he hasn't got a partner with him anymore. I mean, his mate's Jim Goose, but Jim Goose rides a motorbike line. Where was I going with that? Yeah. So what is the difference between Pursuit and Interceptor? Not a lot. At the end of the day, they're all going to do the same thing. But I love the way Big Bopper, Roop, he's just like, I'm going to blow him away. And he's got his little sawn-off shotgun there. And he's kind of trying to kill the Knight Rider. But they just keep everything that happens. They drive through a caravan and better send the meat wagon. Charlie's copped a saucepan in their throat. You know, it's grim, but it's so exciting. The opening chase in Mad Max, the first movie, from 1979, threadbare budget, guerrilla filmmaking, breaking all the rules of the highway, all the rules of filmmaking to put this raw energy on screen. That matches anything you see in Mad Max 2 for sheer adrenaline and exhilaration. It's just the rest of the film is it's a low budget, badly disjointed, plot hole filled, narrative cavities everywhere, but you love it because it's so energetic, and it does create an iconic character with Max Rokitansky. But Mad Max 2 cements all that and just has so much more going on as well. It's all together brilliant. Do check out my my watch along party watching Mad Max 2. It's only a few videos ago, so and I have discussed the film a lot. But back to the car again. Right, I'm going to show you now. The doors do open. Ooh. Door opens. Of course, these are left-hand drive as well, like we are in the UK. So left-hand drive, right-hand drive. What am I talking about? But we drive on the other side of the road. Whereas in America, the steering wheel's on the left. In Australia and in the UK, it's on the right. So, I don't know if you can see, there's a steering wheel in there. Can you see the light? There you go. There's the blue light, the flashing blue light. Doesn't flash. You can modify it so that it does. I know people have done that. Now, again, denoting the fact that this is not the car from the Road Warrior from Mad Max 2, is that this door here does not have a little seat, a little basket seat in it, which the feral kid sits in. And it's also like a bit of a sort of, I don't know, is it a kind of nest for Dog? You know, Max's canine companion. Although Dog does sit in the back, it's a bit of a lair and a den for him in the back. But there's a little basket seat attached to the side of that door, the inside of that door, which obviously when it's swung shut, that's going to go onto that seat. So I would suspect that that's what Dog's been sitting in. But anyway, you know, I don't know. But it's not on this. The wheels do move. They were super squeaky. They were squeakier than Max's leg brace in Mad Max 2. So I had to like oil them. And what else have we got? Okay, right. You probably won't be able to see this, but on the back, because the MFP vehicles just had MFP, as opposed to a license plate with a number on it, it would just have MFP, which would be there. I bet you any money you can't see that. Oh, will you focus on it? No. Well, the problem is, even if I was shooting in 4K, you probably wouldn't see it because it's smeared with that fucking orangey pink shite. So, and I don't want to scrape that because that'll probably take off the MFP as well. But in reality, in normal light, you can see that. Now, what should also be on it should be the bronze badge. you know, which all the MFP carry. And as you can see, even my young protege here, Mr. Kentucky Fudge, has now joined the main force patrol. He has his bronze, he has his little sawn-off shotgun here, and he's got his leathers on. There you go, Mr. Kentucky. The imp of the wasteland. On the side here, on both sides, there should be that emblem. Now, I will concede that I fucked that up, because even with the horrible garish pink smothering that was on this, you could just about see that on both sides. So I tried to scrape around and leave it so you could see it. But then you just had two pink bits, which looked ridiculous in a sea of, you know, dented, scratched black. So I ended up going over it as well. So I'm afraid the MFP is gone, but you can barely see it in Mad Max 2 anyway. And my version here is this is how the vehicle looked about 6 months to a year before the events of Mad Max 2. After about a year of being out travelling in the wasteland. There you go. I think I've justified that enough. And I think you'll agree that although you can't see a before and after really, but you can get a gist of the colouring. Although the windscreen as well. How the fuck are you going to see through that windscreen? Well, you're not, are you? But I would advise not scraping on that. Don't do it. Don't do that. Because that's plastic, so that's not going to... You might crack that, might just go through it. You might want a shattered windscreen. It does get shattered. Wes shatters it in Mad Max 2. And then, of course, the car overturns quite a bit and then gets destroyed because of the booby trap. Touch those tanks and... You crafty little man, you. Now, I've looked underneath and there's no booby trap. There's no explosives under there. However, I said limited edition, didn't I? Right, well, I wasn't sure at first if because manufacturers always say this, it's a limited edition. It fucking isn't. They say that to sell them, you know, but they've mass produced 60 billion of them and then just stamped it limited edition. So people go and buy them, obviously. But this does appear to be limited edition because it does have a number on the bottom of it, which is a sticker. It's a sticker, but it's actually really indented into it, so you're never going to get that sticker off. Yeah, it's actually stuck inside the die-cast metal. That's quite clever, isn't it? And the number is 189 of probably 26 million. So, boy, it's a small number though, isn't it? There's some other reference numbers on it as well. And 1973 Ford Falcon XB, yeah, used under license. But I think it's a great vehicle. It's my favourite vehicle of all time. I go back to the windscreens again. Sorry. What I did with that, because you had there'd been a complete and utter sandstorm, and the wipers have gone so far, but it was so etched, you know, the curve of the two wipers, although you still couldn't see through it. All I've done, I have just darkened slightly elements of it. I put some shading on, because you're going to get dirt going to pile up in the sides of the windscreen. So, you know, and around the base of the wipers and across the top. So I've darkened it. I've given it a bit more reality. And yeah, what would be the back window, I've completely darkened that. That was pure pink and looked just on the plastic, the clear plastic with the pink all over it, just looks so bad. So I've darkened the hell out of that as well. And as you can see, there's a lot of different sort of variations on it. You've got the tail lights. There should be a bit of red showing through there, but you know, again, I haven't scraped that, so the actual pink is left on top of that. I have discoloured the wheels again, although having said it, looking at that, that's still very remarkably pink. But I'll let that go because he's driving through the desert and the sand, so it's going to be continually there. If you look in Mad Max 2, the underside, the underbelly to about there is very, very orange. And then you get lots of pitting around the rest of the vehicle and scratches and dents. So, and as I said before, with the ski and do, there's little dents in there. So I scraped that off to reveal some more black. But you've got to be careful. If you scrape too much, you're going to take the black off as well. So you're going to be left with a sort of just the shiny silver chrome of the actual die-cast metal itself, which on a couple of, it's sort of like, say, on the sides and on the corners, where it's going to be dented and scraped, that's all right. That's what would happen. So if you could see this really close up, you would see that there's a bit there where the chrome is actually coming through. I don't mind that at all. Again, once I discovered that's going to happen, I thought, okay, I'll actually make some. So, it's a project, and I like it. And the little scratches add a lot to it. I did think about just getting a little hammer and chisel and put some dents, proper big dents in it. No, don't do that, because the whole thing's just going to into like 1,000 pieces. Shit. So didn't do that. Obviously, do not colour the supercharger. Oh, so what did I colour it with? What did I say before? Sharpies. You could use paint. I think if you use paint on this after modifying it and taking off all the crap that was on it, I think you're going to run into a few problems, because I think that's going to be too smooth. So I think going in where it's been scraped and with a black Sharpie and just going over it and over it, and because you've left some colouring of the sandy bits elsewhere, and you've gone a bit further, it comes up with a lot of variety in shading of the black, so it just makes it look a bit more weathered and worn, and I love it. I think that's a vast improvement. Again, I didn't want to mess around with the exhaust pipes too much, because they were very pink, and all I did, I just put a few little strips of black, Sharpie and ink on it, just to so they went like so shiny and so shiny and pink. And if you'd scraped them, they'd have been shiny and silver. And again, that would not have looked good. They wouldn't have worked with the overall scheme. But there you go. And it has got an iconic look. Just look at it. And it's coming down. One of the lot of posters, it's just the vehicle coming at you, and Max is above it with it. Although on a lot of posters, Max is wearing a motorcycle helmet and carrying the double-barreled sawn-off shotgun, but he doesn't wear the big goggles and the big bloody visored helmet with MFP written on it and all that. But I think it looks great. And as I say, you can get a bigger version of this made by the same company. It's up to you. They clearly have not got the license to make the Mad Max 2 variant, or if they have, I haven't seen that version. There's plenty out there which have been modified and customised, or just scratch built by the person themselves. And a lot of them have working bits and bobs. They've got the radio in there as well, and they've got the flashing blue light, and they've got some dialogue as well. I've seen people who've done that. It's great. Speaking of all that, and I have mentioned this before, right? Many years ago, well, about 6, maybe 8 years ago, in fact, let's get this right. It was in the build-up to Mad Max Fury Road coming out. So I looked into getting a Ford Falcon. Yes, this is the guy that can't drive. And I know a lot of you know this story already, but there might be newcomers here. You've strayed in from the wasteland. Please, come in, do a little dealing, make a little profit. It's Barter Town. It's Tartan Town. I looked into getting one of these because I heard you could do it, and there is a company out there. Well, there's actually a couple of companies in Australia which will go out and find all old disused, and then obviously someone sold it on Ford Falcons, and they'll do them up to whatever you want. They'll rebuild them, they'll fix them, they'll modify them, they'll do them in the MFP colours, they'll put Pursuit or Interceptor on the back, they'll put the radio in, the flashing blue light, they'll have the authentic radio chatter from the movie will be playing in there as well, and the entire cockpit of it, the dashboard, everything, the seats will be exactly as you see in the movie for whichever version you want. If you want the MFP March Hare, they'll do it that way. If you want Big Bopper, they'll do, because it's a different colour design, they'll do it that way. If you want Max's one, which is a different colour again, well, different stripes on it anyway, with Interceptor on the back, they'll do it that way. You want the pure black on black, they'll do it that way. You want the Mad Max 2 variant, they'll do that as well. So I inquired. I said, I live in the UK. He said, okay. We can still get you one. And I must send it over. Well, how much? And he said, well, which version do you want? Do you want fully modified? And it's the thing. I'm not too sure what I asked for. I think I asked for the black on black. I think I did. But I know I've got a massive love for, the MFP coloured versions as well. And but I think I asked for the black on black. And he said, right, that's 85,000 Aussie dollars. Folks, that's nothing. And when did Fury Road come out? Was it 2015, 16? 15, something like that, wasn't it? Obviously the price has gone up now, but that included, they go out, they find this vehicle, they build it up, they'd soup it up, they do everything to it, and then they'd ship it from Australia to the UK. And I said, well, to be honest, we're going to have to drop the front wall down, because we've got a moat and a portcullis, there's not much room out there. Or you're going to have to be craned over into the back garden. Why? Because I can't drive the fucking thing, can I? Plus, in this country, I think a supercharger like that would actually be illegal. I did look into that. The laws may have changed since, but you can't. In America and other countries, you can have like big hood ornaments, can't you? Great big sort of designs, and I don't know. I think all we're allowed is a Jaguar on a Jaguar car, but that supercharger, because apparently if you hit someone, that's going to cause them even more damage than being hit by a fucking big muscle car anyway. Because as you bounce off the bonnet, that's going to tear you in two. So, now I could be wrong about that now, but because I've seen a lot of car rallies and there's been Mad Max vehicles there and they've had that. But if they're like museum pieces and they're just for like rallies and conventions and festivals, then there's probably a different kind of license for that. You can't drive them through the streets properly, you've got to tow them or something like that. But anyway, 85,000. I said, right, we'll find you one. Years went by, and only about a month ago, and I did mention this, I got an email out the blue, and from the guy in charge of this company. He said, good news, we found one. What version do you want? Are you still interested? I've been on this waiting list for years, clearly, and then I've come up, and I just thought, there's absolutely no way I can afford to get that now. And I can't justify it at all. To sit in the car I can't drive and just make brum brum noises and pretend I'm Max, No, get me husky dog in there as well. Shit, I'm talking myself into this because it could be great. Oh God, it could be awesome. Oh dear God, I've got enough stuff for the museum here anyway. So I mean, that would just be like a big major exhibition. People pay to come and see the Kilt-Man of the wasteland in his Mad Max vehicle that he can't drive, with his dog that doesn't look anything like the dog in the movie because it's a fucking husky. No, I can't justify it. I wish I could. Incidentally, the Knight Rider drives an MFP Pursuit Special vehicle, which he's nicked after breaking out of court. He's still got chains on him, handcuffs on him, or ankle cuffs, I think it is, and he's broke them. And he's got his floozy there, and he's motoring down the roads, heading towards population. And so the other guys are going after him, hell for leather. And he's driving a Holden Monero. Let's have a look. It's got it here somewhere. Holden HQ Monaro, which is a two-door coupe again. It's sort of like, it's more like the Mustang, the Ford Mustang in shape and sort of definition. But it's an MFP Pursuit. It's got MFP all over the back of it, and yeah, that's what hurts. It's one of ours. It's a Pursuit Special on methane, super towy. He says, like, my God, I am the Knight Rider, a fuel-injected suicide machine. Vince Gill's lunatic ravings are just outstanding. Much damage. Oh, you should see the he doesn't stutter that much. You should see the damage, bronze. Metal damage, brain damage. There's so much damage. God, I've mangled that. Vince, mate, I'm sorry. Folks, I'll just show you this again. Currently in Amazon, the weathered version is going for 31 English pounds. The black on black version, which you might prefer, is only 30 quid. So you can get them, and you've got the bigger sizes, which are a lot. Well, they really do vary. You could be charged hundreds for the bigger ones. I'm serious. So you pay your money, you take your chance, but you don't want to pay anything and get a fucking like Penelope Pitstop or what's her name from Thunderbirds, Lady Penelope. A big pink fucking Interceptor. You don't want it pink, do you? But that's what you'll get. If you order the weathered version of this, you'll get a pink fucking V8 Interceptor. And you'll have to do what I did. Although I can't deny that it was fun doing it. It was great. And I could see how... You can see it taking shape. You can see it taking the new colour scheme on. And that great sort of done in look. It still looks fucking mean, doesn't it? Oh, roaring, But you want a figure. You want to get a figure. I was trying to think, Jesus, what figures have I got? I've got millions of figures, little figures, but is there going to be one that you could actually sort of fold up and sit him in there that can look slightly like Mad Max, Because obviously you can get Mad Max figures, and you can obviously make your own. Some great people out there are really creative and very industrious and very talented. I'm not one of them, so I can't make a figure, but I can fuck up a brand new car. So imagine that was just a 1/24 scale die-cast model, and I fucked that up within a day. Imagine if I got behind the wheel of a real one. I wouldn't just fuck the car up, would I? I'd be mangled, like slow motion. Then through the windscreen, hit the tree, bounce back through the windscreen, and by the time we got to him, he was just sitting there, trying to scream with his face ripped off. Yeah, Jim Goose. The great Jim Goose. Steve Bisley. I wonder if he and Mel Gibson are still in touch. They used to be good friends in a couple of movies together. Summer City. They were good pals. Does Gibbo still have any good pals in Australia? I don't know. But there you go. There are some great angles you can put this at where it just looks so fucking mean. Even from the back, there's a lot of shots in the movies of the back, sort of like that sort of look built up, going off. Oh, it's just awesome, isn't it? Right, there you go. That's the last of the V8 Interceptors. A piece of history. I think it looks far better like that, and I'm quite pleased with it, the way it's turned out. The colouring of the sand is still there. You still got it inside the supercharger and inside the exhaust pipes, inside the wheels. It's still poking through in a lot of different places. The little hints of the chrome coming through where I've scraped a bit too far, and then scraped on purpose because I thought that looks pretty good. So you do it on the sides and on any sort of angled piece, because that would be scraped. Any collisions, bumps, riding alongside a pursuing vehicle. How would you ride alongside a pursuing vehicle? You know what I mean? And you're scraping alongside it. It's going to just shear it all off, isn't it? So it'll be shiny and raw. Cheers. And hey, be careful on the roads, because it's a white line nightmare out there. Hey, well damn them. We're going to give them back the heroes. Folks, happy number shall be Kilt-Man, please. In the meantime, in this ever approaching apocalyptic in-between time. I'm having trouble with the words today. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And I am going to see you. Oh, by the way, have you seen the t-shirt? Yeah. You need that? Yeah. And the tyre track on it as well. And that is a signpost from the original Mad Max. Gonna catch you all somewhere down the road.